Hey YouTube, Kira Qualia here, bringing you all an update to my Cardfight Vanguard Lianorn deck profile for post-Raging Flames against Emerald Storm. We got some new support for the deck that was focused on being able to boost your Vanguard along with being able to restand those grade 1 units that provide boost for your Vanguard to hit for an additional drive check, along with the new option of our new grade 3 that we got to give you multiple attacks, which just adds to the pressure that the deck was meant to do. Since you invest the boosts for your Vanguard and make up for it, it just makes it all the better that we can now also have a grade 3 to restand some of those units for us to use. So let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So for the ride deck, our starter is the Announcing Wind of Spring Corfi. When rode upon, if you want second, draw a card. Our grade 1 is Budding of Pleasant Sounds Gracia. When rode upon by Brilliant Tune Rectina, you may call this card to rearguard, giving you a grade 1 for the added power on the back row to boost. Our grade 2 is the Brilliant Tune Rectina. When rode upon by a unit with Lianorn and its card name, you can Soul Blast 1, choose a grade 1 card from your drop, and call to the rearguard. So this can just set up more and more units in your back row for you, with our main go-to grade 3 being our Grand March of Full Bloom Lianorn. This is the upgraded version of the unit from the trial deck, giving you a draw option, with it being able to be called to rearguard as well. So along with the copy in the ride deck, we're also running 3 additional copies of this card for the Persona ride option. And also with it, you can once per turn counterblast 1, draw a card, choose a card from your hand, and call it to rear or discard it. And on Vanguard, when this unit attacks, you can Soul Blast 1, discard a card from your hand, and boost this unit with all your back row stood units. With boost, if you boosted this unit with 3 or more units, it gets drive +1 till end of battle. And at the end of that battle, choose 2 of your back row rear guards and stand them. So this makes up so the fact that those back row rear guards can then also boost the rear guards that haven't attacked yet, but giving you an immense power boost to Lianorn, and having 3 drive checks just makes the pressure that you can provide with your triggers that you potentially get with this card all the more scarier. For the new grade 3s, ideally I do want to run 4 copies of Resonance Dragon. With this card on rear, if your unit boosts a total of 3 or more times this turn, this unit gets plus 5,000 power. So it's an 18k power on its own. And on rear, at the end of the battle, this unit attack to Vanguard. If you have a Vanguard with Lianorn in its card name, and your unit's boosted a total of 5 or more times this turn, counterblast 1, put this unit to your soul, choose one of your rear guards, and stand it. This gives you the option to put this unit into your soul, giving you soul power, but also being able to restand another unit to attack for your 4th attack for your deck for you to use, giving you the +5 and also the additional boost in power with your other unit boosting and providing the additional attack. You can need some pretty big power all on its own. That's why you do want to run 4 copies of this unit. I have the Clapping Dragon that came with the trial deck as just a placeholder until you get more copies of this unit for you to use in the deck. And then for the grade 2s, the only grade 2 I'm running in the deck is 2 copies of Festoso Dragon. When it's placed on rear from your hand, if you have a Vanguard with Lianorn in its card name, counterblast 1, look at the top 3 cards of your deck, choose up to 1 grade 3 or less card from among them, call to rear, and it gets boost until end of turn, and discard the rest. So the fact that it provides boost to the unit means that you can at least have that unit, boost your Lianorn Vanguard. So even if you get a grade 3 off of the call, you can call it to rear, and it can boost your Lianorn, and then also be restood for you to then have the boost provided for your other rear guards that haven't attacked after you attack with Lianorn. Moving on now to the grade 1s, which do provide a big part of the deck altogether. We're running 4 copies of Performing Petal Diantha. When placed on rear from hand, if you have a Vanguard, it's grade 3 or greater, counterblast 1, choose a grade 3 or less card from your drop zone, and call it to rear. So with the Soul Blasting you can do with your Resonance Dragon, you can at least call this card back onto the field to really use, having a full loop with this card thanks to your Diantha. So it's a definite 4 of, and during your turn, if you have 2 or more grade 1 or less rear guards, it gets plus 5,000, being able to be a 13k boost for its power to use against your opponent with this card altogether and the pressure it provides. I also run 4 copies of the Lively Rhythm Biara. When this unit attack is boosted hits a Vanguard, put a grade 2 or less card from your hand into your soul and draw a card. So this can also help you just to go through some of the cards in your hand, giving you more of the vital ones in your hand for guarding against your opponent, or just more useful units for you to call onto the field the following turn. The back row grade 1 one setup is very important in the deck. So with that, we also have 3 copies of Congratulatory Performance Secuse. When this unit boosts a Vanguard, Soul Blast 1, choose one of your opponent's grade 2 or less rear guards not being attacked. Move it to the guard circle. It cannot be moved, and this unit gets plus 5,000 until end of turn. So this card just provides more of an option for your Soul Blast, since some of the other cards go for more of a heavy counterblast option aside from Lianorn's boost skill. So being able to have another card to Soul Blast out the Resonance Dragon makes you able to recycle this card with cards like your Diantha, and also making it so your opponent must guard with some of their other cards. Even if they can't block the attack, they'll be investing some of their cards for the attack hit against your Vanguard. And then for the last of the Lianorn-related boosted cards for the Grade 1s, 2 copies of Marching Debut Purette and 2 Amelie. With the Amelie, when this unit boosts, if you have one other Grade 1 or less rear guard, this unit gets plus 2,000 to win a battle. Then if it boosted a Grade 3 or greater Vanguard, counter plus 1, soul plus 1, and draw a card. So it's draw power. You can have this card on another rear guard column. It can still provide the boost to your Lianorn for you to get the counter blast, soul blast, draw power. And with Purette, during your turn, if you have 3 or more Grade 1 or less rear guards, it gets plus 5,000 power. Just another 13k boost option for your rear guards to provide. With the last of the Grade 1s just being 3 copies of Custodial Dragon and 1 Elementaria Sanctitude for the additional guard against triple drive decks, and also being able to block cards with the option of not having too many cards in your hand and not having to discard for them if you have 1 card in your hand. For the other orders, along with the Elementaria Sanctitude, I do run 2 copies of Sympathize DB. You play this card with a counterblast of 1. Draw a card, choose a card from your hand, call it to rear, or discard it. If you called a card to end of turn, that unit cannot attack, and it gets plus 10,000 power. So even if it doesn't attack, you still have a rear guard that you can call. That gets plus 10,000 power and can still provide some pretty big boost, whether it be to a rear guard or to your Vanguard Lianorn. Moving on now to the trigger lineup. I'm running 8 criticals, so 4 copies of the Aspiring Maiden Alana and 4 copies of the Melioda Palmyra, just as the more fitting critical to use with the musical instrument playing deck. It just 8 critical with a triple drive Lianorn is definitely scary to go up against your opponent. For more pressure with your rear guards, I'm also running 3 front triggers, so 3 Frenzied Heiress for the additional shield guard that this card provides, and just having your front row get plus 10 on top of the 18k power that your Resonance Dragon could be attacking with. If you Persona Road, that's 28,000, and then 38,000 with the front trigger on top of that. With the heals being 2 of the Rhythmica Kiwi, 1 copy of Asher, and 1 Alchemic Hedgehog for the additional guard options against the additional critical units and units that have attacked multiple times. With the over trigger being the Blessed Favor for the heal power, pressure to the front row once again, and additional critical that you can give to one of your units. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed. This is just one of the few decks that I have to finish up from the Raging Flames against Emerald Storm set, and I've still got a couple more to deck profile as well, so definitely look forward to it. And as always, until next time, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and Kira Qualia out.